There is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey folks, welcome to the Smack Raw podcast, your one-stop shop for all your WWE and AEW, NXT recaps, reviews, pay-per-view predictions. As always, it's Kyle here, joined today on camera for our YouTube people out there, Vince and Kevin. What's up, guys?
What up, guys?
Yo.
Oh, man. Hey, listen, folks. We are a pro wrestling podcast. If this is your first time joining us, you can listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, and iTunes. And, of course, we're over here on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to help us get, 100 subscribers? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
And, man, no, I'm excited for today. I love recording during the day, you guys. I feel so much better than following.
I feel more
along.
energized instead of like having to like, oh shit, we just watched like a 3-hour episode of Raw. Now we have to go sit here and talk for another hour and a half.
I'm telling
you, it's so much better, so much better. I'm so geeked up about it. I don't know so much about Raw. I'm just geeked up about this whole setup in general. Like, this is the first time we've had Kevin on here. I know you and I have always done this like maybe 3 times now.
Yep.
But man, the fact that we got the whole gang together now, we have a whole clique here, so to speak.
The clique, which is actually so suited because you guys can't see it, but our YouTube viewers, clique member Triple H on screen right now.
You know it.
Hey, listen, you guys.
Time to play the game.
Last little bit of plug in here. If you guys listen, man, we like to talk wrestling with each other. That's the whole reason we do this. But of course, we'll talk about wrestling with you. Twitter is the easiest way to hit us up. You can hit the show up at SmackDrawPod, myself at the Kai Tai Show, and then I'll let Kevin and Vince awkwardly fight over who introduces themselves first.
Go do it.
Word. So you can find me at Kevin Crazy 316, Crazy with K.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter and all social medias at SES Vince. That's capital SES lowercase VINCE.
I don't think cap sensitive is a thing on Twitter, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I think it's cap sensitive elsewhere. I don't know. Do my thing. I was trying to think. Just trying to think.
Hey, look. If for YouTube, you guys, our Twitter handles are scrolling in the links, in the little ticker below, and then of course everything's in the links in the description. If you're not into Twitter, you can always hit us up in the comments. Trust me, I am lurking in those comments, waiting for anybody to leave anything. Yeah. You'll get an instant response from me at the very least.
I'll slide in there. You'll see me in there. If you comment down below, I'll always engage the audience down there. But yeah, with that said, let's get into it, guys. I'm excited.
Man.
I ain't sliding into nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
This is 2019. Kev keeps his stuff safe, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, we're here to talk Monday Night Raw. Guys, Raw in a nutshell. I'll start off with Kev, Raw in a nutshell. How was it, man?
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, it was cool seeing like all the NXT dudes there, but like all in all, it was kind of boring. Like a lot of the matches didn't. Like, I mean, I don't know. A lot of the matches had like no real context to them and stuff like that. You know,
felt like showcase matches to you, especially the Charlotte Natalya match with the Kabuki Warriors. There really was no story for that match.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I see where you're coming from.
Me personally, I don't think it was like a banger of a show by any means. It's no SmackDown because SmackDown kind of did all the cool spots. I think it was just basically a standard episode of Monday Night Raw with a little NXT sprinkled in there. I think the coolest spot of the night was probably like the whole Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch face-to-face
without
setup.
A doubt, man.
And then obviously like the brawl at the end of the show was kind of cool. I have things that I'm gonna nitpick about the show, obviously, but like I get, like, again, it wasn't a bad show. It just nothing like really stood out. Nothing great about it. It was just all solid C's.
I think
across the board.
In my general opinion, I think it was a good show. There were just some stuff in there that it's like the bad is easier to remember in this show than the good stuff, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the stuff that was bad was really bad, and the stuff that was good was mediocre, but still good nonetheless.
Well, and I think that like following SmackDown last Friday too was
it's
gonna
hard
be
to follow.
It's gonna be.
Which by all means, if you guys haven't heard yet, man, all of those who were jumping on Vince McMahon claiming that this is what you get without Vince running, including myself, I was putting out there. Apparently, Vince is the one who wrote SmackDown, dude. I mean, granted, I'm not a journalist. I'm just regurgitating what other people are saying, but from the chatter I hear, a lot of people speculate that it was actually Vince, man, who wrote the show. So who knows?
Hey, man, I try to do a good job when I write wrestling. I do what I can. I do it for the people.
Hey, now. So Raw this week emulates from Long Island, New York, just a stone's throw away from Buffalo. Kev, first of all, before we get into this, man, you really missed it this time, bro. They were in your backyard, and you missed one of the best shows of the year in SmackDown.
I know.
My heart hurt for you, bro.
It's like an hour away from where I live, Buffalo is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But how geeked would you have been had you went to that show and you had no idea NXT was going to be there?
Oh my god, I would have lost my shit. That would have been crazy.
Poor fella, man.
But yeah, I don't know. One thing that carried over from SmackDown was Brock Lesnar coming over to Raw to come get him some Rey Mysterio, and that's how we kicked off today's show, actually. Well,
we kicked off in Long Island. That was the first segment, but we did get that little teaser of a caravan of SUVs pulling up.
Oh, yeah.
We got Triple H hopping now. We're sitting there wondering who's in the SUVs, although I think most of us could predict it's going to be NXT fellas. So really it was like who from NXT is going to be there. But yeah, to your point, Vince, we did kick off the show. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman in the ring. Paul explained, so something we rarely get in WWE, we got an explanation for why stuff happened. Brock has a clause. He's unfireable. They can't trade him. They can't fire him.
No.
Brock is special, man. He goes where he wants, and that's that. Whereas other wrestlers can't. But yeah, ultimately he's here hunting down Rey Mysterio. If you're watching the YouTube stream or watching the YouTube recap, you can see him here trying to rip some backstage stagehand's head off. Hunting down Rey. Dude, listen,
that was awesome.
Listen, Brock, we get that you're into your stuff that looked a bit much, man. Like I was like,
it wasn't enough.
I mean,
acting or not, man, that looked pretty terrifying.
I think it's safe to say that angry, pissed off Brock is probably the most scariest individual I've ever seen.
Ever.
Like legit. I don't even. And which is funny how things ended up for him at the end of the night. But he started off hot, and for one thing, I know a lot of us in the chat were talking about that, and even on Twitter, and everybody was trying to figure out with the Fiend winning the Universal title on Crown Jewel and him being a SmackDown superstar, how were they going to juggle the two main titles being on SmackDown? Well, they kind of used the whole Brock Lesnar does whatever the heck he wants to do and goes over to Raw, which, you know what, for one thing, I kind of like. It opens up the possibility for the Universal title to be redesigned, and it changed up a bit. I don't think we're going to get anything different than like the template we have now, because even the Daniel Bryan hemp title was basically the same title, but made out of hemp. So it's probably going to be the same.
We'll get the same logo.
We'll get the same logo,
but it will be a Fiend title. This will not be the SmackDown Universal Championship. No, we're gonna get a character title, like the Smoke and Skull title, the Brahma Bull belt. We're gonna get a belt designed for the Fiend. I mean, Bray already teased the belt that they made for him when he first won the title back at Elimination Chamber. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get a Fiend title. I fully believe it. They're going to go all in on this Fiend gimmick because it would be really weird for him to hold a belt that's generic. Well, I'm not – generic's kind of downplaying it, but
the
everyman title. Like his title has to accent his character.
No. That's not even the issue because I think the red kind of complements the Fiend very well. The issue is that he's on the blue brand and his title is bright as all red. Like it's that's the only issue with it. But
it'd be crazy.
Mhm.
Maybe he's the first wrestler that he'll have 2 titles. Like he'll have a title designed for him while he's the Fiend, and he'll have another title designed while he's Mr. Rogers. Yeah.
You're taking fantasy booking to a whole new level, Kyle.
Hey, look, man, a man can dream. Okay, listen. Brock's hunting down Ray backstage. He beats up a stagehand. Ultimately, we cut to commercial. When we come back, apparently this other stagehand saw what happened to the previous fella, so he instantly throws whoever's in a car in his proximity under the bus. He's like, no, he's over there, man. Just points off. He just points to a random car. Brock essentially dismantles the rear door, pulls some fella out, and the fella must have been watching Raw on his cell phone or something because he knew what was up, and he instantly starts yelling at Brock. He's, I'm not Ray. I'm not Ray. Like,
he's like, I'm not Ray. Clearly.
Right?
So it sets the tone, man. It sets the tone that we got Brock looking for Rey Mysterio. We'll see how far into the night that goes. Next up, this is my first criticism of the evening. Why are we having Natalya and Charlotte teaming again to take on the Kabuki Warriors, especially in a non-title match? This, to what you said earlier, Kev, you said like the showcase matches. Yeah, I didn't get it, man.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah,
and like obviously,
it's the whole purpose of the show.
No,
well, yeah, of course. No. So I get what they're doing here. As much as the women's division in WWE is pretty loaded and stacked with just a bunch of enormous talent in there, they don't really have any solidified tag teams just yet for Asuka and Kairi Sane to take out. They just literally took out Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They just took out Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox from NXT. They need to build up some kind of team. I kind of wish they were kind of doing this whole Natalya, Charlotte, we're going to be second generation tag team wrestlers or whatever. Like a couple weeks back, build up to this moment where they finally beat the tag team champions because this is only their second tag team match.
They're not
they've
even
already
getting
beat
backstage segments though.
Right.
Exactly.
They're just like, hey, here's a match.
Oh, here's a match where we're both wrestlers. We're good at wrestling. Now we beat the champions. Now they're probably going to get a title shot at Survivor Series, and I'm okay with them having that title shot against Kabuki Warriors because they're probably not going to win. But my biggest issue
they already
is that
won though. They beat them.
Yeah.
They
beat
them
I'm
clean
saying
in the ring.
They're not going to win the titles though.
I hate you have commentary like trying to do all the exposition, and there's no real exposition either. It was just like
look, like there's like zero explanation as to why they're teaming up now.
Yeah.
But like kayfabe web, there's no reason why they should be teaming up. They have history of them hating each other, just going back to even like less than a year ago on SmackDown, I believe. And it's just one of those things where they want Charlotte on the pay-per-view because she's one of the biggest name draws of the company. The only way to get her in some kind of high-profile match is to put her in a tag team. What person makes sense to team up with? Well, Natalya, she's a second-generation wrestler too. Let's pair them up together, even though Charlotte was the heel like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, she's arguably still a heel. Like, I'm not even aware that she's a face. Like, it's kind of just like some people really like who. It's just so odd.
And I hate
so
this. It was
awkward.
Natalya, and it was Natalya that went ahead and beat and submitted Asuka with like that bogus ass sharpshooter of hers.
So wait,
I
so
love
that
Natty.
was
I love
Asuka that
Natty.
topped out, right?
Yeah, it was
Tapped
Asuka
out.
tapped out.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one thing is that obviously at the pay-per-view they can still like use their green mist and try to like capitalize that way, or they can, always go with the whole Charlotte, this isn't for her and she turns
Are
her
they
back
calling
on
it
Natty.
green mist, or are they calling it something? I thought they called it like poison mist.
Sorry
to nitpick, but because
No,
I
no,
remember
no.
I was like, no, because Tajiri it was green mist, and I've been waiting for them to repeat that labeling, but just kind of like
They
how
usually
they
just
do,
say miss. They usually just say miss. He just
yeah,
hits her with the miss.
kind of like how Otis does the caterpillar instead of the worm. Because that was Scotty Too Hotties. I feel like they've been rebranding the Mist name too. This is me like really clutching to something that probably no one else is thinking about, but it stuck out to me, man. Like,
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Yes, I want to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. No, but going back to this match, like I said, like my biggest issue with it is not that Charlotte and Natalia beat the champions. It's the fact that they beat them in their second match. This is literally their second match as a team, and I've said this. I've said this on the
three
podcast.
sets of champions now.
Yeah,
because they beat the Iconics, right? They beat the Iconics like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So they beat the Iconics like it was nothing, and like again, even that bothered me last week when we were recording because I don't like this idea that two random superstars, even though they're really good wrestlers, can be an established tag team that have chemistry, and it should be like a whole thing where like. Not to jump onto like that bandwagon right now, but AEW does that well in the fact that they separate their tag team record from their singles match record, because it should be a distinction right there. Because a tag team wrestler, a singles wrestler can't just jump into a tag team. You have to have some kind of chemistry with someone. Like even like in all-star games or like in kind of like celebrity games like that in like football or the NBA, even great players, it takes time for them to mesh together and play as a unit and can be beat by a lesser talented team just because they've been playing together and have more experience as a team. It's just that's like life in general. Like it makes no sense, and that's what I just don't like about it.
No,
other than that, had this been like 3 or 4 weeks of build up, I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that this is only their second match, I hated it. But yeah, that was my rant.
I'm sorry to leave you hanging there, man. I was just checking on our stream to make sure it was working while you were going there.
No.
I completely agree with what you were saying.
Yeah, I agree too, man. And I just didn't feel invested in the match at all. I was just like, whatever. I didn't care who won or lost. I was just like, what's next, man?
And it kind of proved the overarching theme too. The crowd was dead, not just for this match. The crowd was dead almost all night for the show.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the show, like them reacting to the show, or just the crowd in general made the show? Because sometimes it could be a decent show, and the crowd not being into it can make you like not get into the show.
I'm blaming Long Island. I don't recall really them getting much of a rise out of almost anything throughout the night.
I think they barely even got a Bebe or boom from Adam Cole's entrance.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to think of any audible pops. And it was. I think Long Island was on some stuff last night because they weren't giving it to nobody. But I'll tell you someone who was getting it, and that was Dio Madden last night.
Oh my gosh! I feel bad for the guy. He stood up for Jerry Lawler, and at the end it didn't even mean much. He should have just let Jerry Lawler get wrecked.
Oh Jesus, no! Because that would have shoot killed him. No, so
but like speaking of shoot killing him, did you catch what Paul Heyman said to Jerry Lawler?
Yeah, that was brutal.
Okay, hold up. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Hold up.
Oh, if you don't, I got it wrote. I'll tell you that.
He said something along the lines of like he will unleash the beast on him if he doesn't tell him where Rey Mysterio is, and says if he does unleash the beast, no one will be able to resuscitate him this time when he dies.
Again.
And I was like, oh snap! What a fucking
if you're a little bit younger or you missed a couple years, back in 2012, Jerry Lawler legitimately had a shoot heart attack on air. It was extremely disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. I this was during my blackout period where I wasn't watching it, but I went back and saw that once I heard about it a couple of years ago. But yeah, Jerry Lawler legitimately had a heart attack on air during a match.
He turned Michael Cole at the time, who was a heel commentator, into a babyface for the rest of his career. He could never go back.
No, yeah, he can't. And then
he couldn't.
This is the second time Paul Heyman has mocked Jerry Lawler for having that heart attack. Because
I love it.
Yeah, because afterwards, after the heart attack initially happened, you had Heyman, who was at the time paired up with CM Punk, and Heyman faked a heart attack on air. CM Punk throwing up the X, which they rarely ever do for story purpose. And it was super distasteful. I'm not gonna lie. Like
it was very distasteful.
It was so bad. But
was
yeah,
pretty
this
bad.
is the second time Heyman's mocked Lawler for that damn heart attack.
And then,
Damn.
but Lawler couldn't even answer him because, like you were saying, Dio Madden decides to step up to Brock Lesnar and defend Jerry Lawler's honor. Don't know why. And he gets an F5 for his troubles, goes through the table. Poor Dio, because I freaking
By the
love
way,
Dio.
I
think-
had no idea how big Dio was. He's a big
Yeah, no
fella,
problem.
man. He towered over Brock.
Dude, he's so tall. He's very athletic. He is very charismatic. I don't know why this guy isn't wrestling. I know he was training in the performance center. I don't know why he's not wrestling.
Maybe he just doesn't click, man. Maybe he's got
Maybe
two
it
left
hasn't
feet.
clicked.
Maybe he got 2 left feet.
That's so
Wasn't-
disappointing.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like a pro football player for
Yeah.
a minute or something like that?
Yeah, he was in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Nah, man, that
I don't know.
but yeah, after that, freaking Rey Mysterio came out with like a bat or like a lead pipe or something. It just went to work on Brock Lesnar like he was a piñata on like a Saturday night freaking Mexican party. Like I swear, like I've never seen any person get hit that hard. Like I said, like I'm this coming from a Mexican that goes to a lot of like Hispanic Mexican parties with piñatas. No one gets beat that hard like Brock Lesnar got beat last night. Like legit, it was crazy. And then even when they came back from commercial, he was selling the limp. Like he could barely get up, and he tried to take a couple steps, and then he collapsed right back down to the floor.
Yeah, no, yeah, he took it. Ray took him out. It's good to see Brock sell. Do you think this is out of respect what Brock has for Ray?
Oh, I think so. Look
I
at what
would
he
have
did
to
for
think so,
AJ.
Yeah.
Look at what he did for AJ. Guys like freaking like Joe, like like I guess Cena, like
Yeah.
who else did he wrestle? Brian, he sold for Brian. It's really guys who he respects and who he likes. Even Goldberg,
Balor.
Balor
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Guys that he respects would makes you think he probably doesn't respect Braun Strowman at all. Because I swear,
it all stems from when Braun hit him with that knee. Brock never forgot, dude. He never forgot, even though he paid him the receipt. Like, yeah. Oh man, look at me. I'm professional as hell. I don't have my ringer off. Look at that. Damn it, man.
oh man. But yeah, man. Yeah. Came back from commercial. Brock barely made it to the back on his own power, and freaking Rey Mysterio cut like one of the most intense, passionate promos he've ever cut.
I'm
And
glad he
it was-
translated for us, by the way.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say so. Like legit, everything he said in English was what he had just previously said in Spanish,
Okay.
which is what I really love about his promos. Is that he's able to like gravitate towards everyone. No
Yeah.
one's gonna be felt excluded that they don't understand what he's saying. But I thought it was great, and I thought it was great that he challenged them. And this is a little like I don't know if it's planned or not, but he actually was supposed to get a title shot against Seth for the Universal title. He didn't get it because he was attacked by Brock Lesnar. Full circle, now he gets that title shot against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
Dang.
no shit.
So when was he supposed to have that title shot against Seth?
That the same night Brock Lesnar just destroyed him and Dominic.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I got you now. I got you.
I kind of forgot about that, honestly.
Oh man, but yeah. So like me, that's just me like keeping strands together and trying to like put pieces in places. I just thought about that and I thought that was great.
Yeah, that would have been one hell of a showcase, man.
For sure.
Yeah, and another showcase that we had was the match between Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander. Cedric is forever loser, bro. Forever, like flashy loser.
Oh my god.
Yep, that dude. It is a wrap, signed, sealed, delivered. Sorry, Cedric. You and Buddy Murphy fell in the same kind of role. There's only one spot Buddy's getting it, and that is flashy wrestler who's not the best at promos, but is going to. They're gonna go forward with Buddy. Because these guys had a heck of a match, but it really felt like it was an audition, and Buddy's the one who won.
Right. No, I totally get that. Because here's the thing. The thing about Buddy Murphy is he has more of a charismatic appeal to him. He just looks cool. He just seems like a guy that like could be a top guy. Nothing against Cedric. I love Cedric, but I think like maybe he needs like an edge to him. And it's not that he's boring or anything, but he kind of has like the same Apollo Crews thing, even like the same thing that Neville had before he turned heel. It's just even like AJ for a while, he was kind of going stale. Has like he was like Apollo Crews thing, the champ that runs the camp or whatever it was that he was doing. It was like sometimes you just get stale. Cedric, we've only seen him as a babyface. He doesn't do anything that like guys like Ricochet or Buddy Murphy can't do. So nothing that he's doing kind of like stands out too much. So I think like that's what he needs. He needs an edge to him, or maybe he needs to be in the tag team, someone that can bring out his personality a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or maybe just give him the mic. Maybe he's a very like charismatic guy, and we just haven't had a chance to see it.
Right.
Sorry, no, I was letting you fill the air. Turns out our link that we put on Twitter wasn't clickable. I'm just fixing it right now while you're talking. Damn, that's twice now. I was trying to do some maintenance while you were doing what.
No, that's okay. I was actually trying to do the same thing. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Like great minds think alike.
Hey man, me and Vince, man, we are on point.
We're trying to have this shit run smoothly.
Thank you, Sebastian, for the tip though. Sebastian's the one who dropped the note that
for sure.
that you guys trying to watch us having trouble.
Along for the ride.
No, but the match was really good, like you said. Like unfortunately, Cedric took the loss, which was kind of cool because like it was like a handspring, like he was kind of doing like a handspring.
God,
like,
that knee
to
in
Jiri.
the back, man, that was
Like
awesome.
it looked like a V trigger almost, but like to the back, and then he takes the Murphy's Law 1, 2, 3. Gotta say, Buddy Murphy has probably one of the best finishers in all of wrestling, man. I think it's so smooth, it's so easy to transition. You can get easily caught in it, and that's the best kind of moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it comes out of nowhere, you can hit it quickly. Those are the best.
It looks like an angle slam with way more steps. Just
Oh my gosh.
so how do we save Cedric? I vote put him in a stable. Put him
Yeah.
don't
I could see that.
and not like the loser stable. We're not talking like social outcast or what was the international one? The League of Nations.
Hey.
Look,
No League of Nations slander on this podcast.
individually, most of those guys were badass. Collectively, they were a bunch of losers.
Here's the thing:
Like,
you take out Del Rio and you put in Cesaro. Now you have the Bar. Then you have Rusev Day, and you have Bad News Barrett. Who doesn't love that? You just gotta use it.
collectively, they were losers. Individually, they were awesome. But when it was something about, it was like what you said. It was like the All-Star game. They had no chemistry. Okay.
Okay,
you
but
couldn't put them together.
Can we just agree that they were basically just supposed to be like Roman Reigns' Dungeon of Doom or
They
whatever
really
it was?
were. You know,
Yeah,
you
that's
couldn't put
exactly what
anybody- yeah, they really were. They really were.
But going back to Cedric, I think tag team wise, and
who you tagging
they has obviously can't do it because they're on separate shows, but they have the history there. They were good friends. Mustafa Ali, I think him and Cedric Alexander make a great tag team.
Get him away from 205, man. Do something like a Luchasaurus team up, man. Get him with some like big dude. Get him with a really big guy. Someone that he is.
What are you trying to rehire Brodus Clay and pair him up? Because you brought up Luchasaurus. The only other wrestling dinosaur I can think of is Brodus Clay. No,
I'm saying have the strange bedfellows angle because that could add a lot of. Look what that did for Booker T and Goldust, or even R-Truth and Goldust, or anybody you paired up with Goldust.
But is there anyone right now on the roster that has that fits that bill? I don't think there is.
But maybe you don't know till you do it, man.
Maybe a Ricochet?
What if you have a reoccurring thing where Cedric is trying to find a tag team partner, kind of like when Chad Gable was trying to get Jason Jordan, you know?
Yeah, true.
Vince said, maybe just give him the mic once in a while, see what he's got.
Let him cut a promo.
Sucks, man. He sucks on the mic.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
I don't know, honestly. Maybe he does suck on the mic.
I don't know. No. You guys, that's me trying to just take the piss out of it.
Speaking of someone that sucks on the mic, after like the whole Cedric Buddy Murphy match, we got a little recap of like the NXT takeover on SmackDown, and then we saw Seth Rollins making his way to the ring and cut his usual like Seth Rollins, I just got defeated promo.
He turned on the fans.
He said
that some of y'all were cheering that I lost, and you know what? I don't give a damn what you think. Which
right.
Hey, you know.
But he also said
something.
He also said that he doesn't know what's next. He doesn't know if he has the energy to fight back and get back to that point to like where he's fighting for something again, because it was Triple H, then it became Brock Lesnar, then it became the title, then it became chasing the title again, then it became the Fiend, then he couldn't conquer the Fiend. So it's one of those things where he felt like he kept pushing to conquer certain things, and it's been taking more and more out of him every time he does it. He doesn't know if he has that in him anymore. He doesn't know
who could blame him. You spend years trying to get Brock off the top of the mountain, and you finally do, and then you have this thing with the Fiend. You get beat, and then all of a sudden, just when you were at your lowest point, here comes Brock, top champ on Raw again, and you feel like you are just back at square. Dude, could you imagine? Like, it didn't dawn on me till during that promo, and I was like, yo, like, kayfabe wise, if I was in Seth's position right now, I would be effing exhausted. Like,
right?
That would be the most daunting. Like, dude, I can't go through all this again. That's another WrestleMania run. That's another getting F5 7 times on the spine of chairs. Like, getting tossed into ring posts. Like, no, man. Like, oh, kayfabe wise, that would just ruin me. I would be wrecked. I would be.
Which for me, I thought it made it even better because like the story he was telling, he's like he doesn't know what's next for Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And cue Triple H's music, which I thought was kind of
yeah.
interesting that he had the NXT logo in his Titantron, which completely
Totally
didn't fit whatsoever. Like it's so green, and he has like that bright yellow NXT in the middle. It just didn't fit.
Yo,
he comes out
totally gimmick infringement on EC3, by the way.
he did the whole. For real. I mean, at this point, EC3 is just as defeated as Seth.
Can we get a milk carton with EC3's face on it, man?
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And then, dude, like Triple H cut like one of the best promos I've seen him cut like recently. And here's the thing: I forget Triple H is a great promo until he cuts a great promo. It's I don't know why. It's he made references to Finn Balor. He made references to Seth Rollins' past, and he alluded to the fact like, look. Join up with me. You don't know what's next for Seth Rollins? Well, I do. I always bring the best out of you. When you didn't knew what was next for Seth Rollins, you became the first NXT champion. When you didn't knew what was next, the Shield was born. When you didn't knew what's next, you separated and became WWE champion. Like great things have happened because of me. Seth obviously says, well, was that for you or for me? And then Triple H like, well, does that even matter? Because you became wiped out champion at the end of the day. And even Seth was like, yeah, good point.
Let's forget the whole like pedigreeing Seth for Kevin Owens to get the Universal title part. You know, we'll push that one aside. That was the one time Seth
parallel
did not wind
universe.
Up with gold.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't
alternate universe. Some alternate universe where Kevin Owens was like the chosen one.
Hell yeah.
But
man. And we got Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho stuff for a long time, which was just still to this day one of the best long-term booking with one of the craziest payoffs.
I feel like they not to harpen back too much to that, but I legit should have been for the Universal title. Brock versus Goldberg didn't need it. But yeah, and then going back to Seth, he didn't know what was next for him, and sure enough, Triple H is like, well, look, you're either with me or you're against me. And when he's making that statement, Undisputed Era makes their way to the ring, and they're like lined up on the outside, almost Shield style, and like just waiting for Seth's answer. Like, if you say no, you're not with us, well, we're gonna get in that ring, we're gonna beat the crap out of you. But before Seth can give us an answer, the OC shockingly come out and make their presence known, kind of like defending Raw.
They still had to wait for the beat to drop, though.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I know.
You can't leave if the beat doesn't drop. If the beat doesn't drop, like, come on. Like, you have to.
Man.
It's just common courtesy, Kyle.
Common
courtesy. You have to let the beat drop.
Gotta make that impact, man. Oh my gosh.
For sure. And I don't know about you guys, but I got goosebumps when I saw the OC versus Undisputed Era, something I've always wanted to see. Man.
When are we gonna get Finn? When are we gonna get Finn in the OC? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just never, right? Never. That
Never.
is
probably not gonna happen now.
Yeah, that's
I mean, if it's something you want to watch and see and you think you might enjoy, it's probably never gonna happen, unfortunately. And then so when the OC comes out, Undisputed Era just start making their way out. They start retreating. The OC try to like come for them still, and they get blindsided by Dijak and Damian Priest. Then Undisputed Era decide now the odds are in our favor. Let's jump in on this.
Yeah.
And more of the Raw locker room came out, and they were going back and forth. Everybody was brawling. I think in the end, it was NXT that kind of like got the upper hand.
Is Damian Priest Baron Corbin 2.0? I see.
He fills that role.
I've been seeing so many parallels. People are comparing him to Baron Corbin.
So he fills that similar void and role that Baron Corbin filled back in the old NXT, and you can kind of make the same case for Aleister Black, that like loner, darker guy that comes in and finishes matches quick. Obviously, Aleister Black is way different than both Damian Priest and Baron Corbin. They're more similar, but I felt like NXT always had that dark entity role, where like that.
Yeah,
they try to do that with Sami Callihan when he was Solomon Crow, and obviously they had the entire faction of Sanity for that short period of time. So they've always kind of had that kind of like darkish character,
it's like a revolving door of the
yeah, exactly. So don't be surprised if you see like some random like Enigma person showing up on NXT a year from now.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just Jeff showing up, like decided he wants to join NXT, calls himself Enigma. I don't know. But yeah, so
he's got rights.
True, definitely. Yep. And yeah, it was like a whole brawl. I think NXT won the brawl, but one thing that commentary was making note is that NXT didn't attack Seth Rollins. And he's
been hands off. They've been hands off with him up until this point.
And then we go to commercial, we come back, and it's Seth Rollins finding Triple H, and they're going back and forth. He's like, look, man, I'm not going to join NXT as like a former Universal Champion. If I go back to NXT, it's as NXT Champion. So make the match me versus Adam Cole for the NXT title. And Triple H accepts, sets up the match for later down in the night, and put Seth Rollins in an interesting position, and the entire Raw roster in a difficult position, because if Adam Cole wins, like, you don't want to root for Adam Cole because he's the enemy, but you also don't want to root for Seth Rollins because then he'd be leaving you and going to NXT.
I don't know about that, man. I think kayfabe wise, people might still be a little sour from when Baron Corbin was looking for a special referee and Seth Rollins just was taking everybody out with a chair. That would not leave my mind, man.
I mean, right now, Seth Rollins is not the most popular person.
It's brand versus brand right now. It's brand versus brand. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Following that, we finally get our mixed tag match between Andrade and Zelina Vega and Sin Cara and Carolina.
I don't know. They kept changing the name.
The graphics said Carolina. I had to reach out to Benji, and I was like, "Hey, is this like just Hispanic pronunciation?" Like, And Benji, I guess, didn't get what I was asking him. So, like, at the end, I still didn't get an answer. And then I was like, "No, look, listen. The graphic says Carolina, but they're saying Catalina, and I am ultimately confused. What's going on here?"
Right.
And then before I knew it, the match was over. The whole time.
Her actual name is Catalina, but WWE decided to do the standard WWE thing where we're just going to tweak your name so we can copyright it and call her Carolina. And last week they were calling her Carolina, but this week they're calling her Catalina, and it's just like a whole ass mess. Honestly,
get your stuff together, folks. Get your stuff together, man.
Overall, I thought like all competitors.
He said her name is Jessie.
What?
Benji said her name is Jessie.
Jessie?
Is it Jessie? Is her real name Jessie? Like, that's a shoot name?
Maybe.
I don't know, man. Look, she's new to me. I did break on me that she's super young, though. I guess she is only 19 years old.
She is 19. What the?
Holy cow, man! 19.
Dude, she's making me feel old, man. I'm in my late 20s, man. it's not looking good on my end. And here we
You're
see
making
some
me
young
feel old, man.
upstarts making their debut at 19 years old. Jeez.
She's on Raw. She's got a microphone. She's been given mic time and now in ring time, mixed match. She's been there. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like that kind of that's cool, and that's something that we were talking about. I think Vince, you and I on a previous episode, where there is a demographic or a role missing from WWE main roster television that AEW has, and that is that very young. Wrestlers like a young wrestler on main card is late 20s, early 30s. That's your young wrestlers. So you know, missing out on that young 20s, and in this case, a teenager. Holy cow, we got a teenager on WWE Monday Night Raw.
What am I doing with myself?
Oh my god, man! Shout out to Catalina/Carolina. Whatever WWE wants you to be called. You know what? Let's just reach out to her as a show. We'll reach out to her on Twitter. Yeah. Come on now.
We'll do that.
Give her a shout out. We'll let her end the dispute.
For sure. But overall, I thought the match was solid. It highlighted Selena Vega as a wrestler. She can do some really solid stuff.
Yo, was she still coming out in that Queen of the Damned getup? Like, what was she doing?
I hate that. I think she looks ridiculous. I love Selena Vega. I love Andrade. I'm all for representing La Raza and all my people, but goddamn, girl, like that is, no. You're looking like La Rosa de Guadalupe, like you looking like the Virgin Mary, like the Mexican one, like with like that looks like red and green that has all the spikes and stuff. No,
yo, my wife was obviously feeling kind of jealous, and she was roasting her. She's like, "What is she? The Statue of Liberty?" And I was like, "I didn't even notice."
Nah, man. Like aside from roasting her whole like little get up, which I'm not a fan of, she's still solid in the ring. She's like I said, solid. She's smooth. She's crisp. She should be wrestling, honestly.
Yeah.
Me and Benji actually had this conversation where we don't even see we see it with like the male wrestlers, a lot of like diversity in terms of like Latinos, but I don't think we've ever really seen like any Latinas like in the wrestling scene in WWE. Like I've only seen it in
you got AJ Lee.
Well, I mean more like Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio, where like that's part of the
heritage is part of their character.
Yeah.
Like even Bayley, she's Mexican. Yeah. Bayley's Mexican, but you'd never know that.
God no, she seems so white.
And like
she seems
AJ
like mayonnaise on white bread, white.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, like Kyle, you're not the only one, because the WWE even forgot that she was like Latina, because like they didn't even make her like a Spanish shirt for her, like a Bailey Spanish themed shirt like a year or so ago when they were doing that for wrestlers. But
come on, man. Get yourself together, WWE. This is why your turnover rate is about to tank, man, and this is why.
Like I said, honestly, it's a nice change of pace. I like the Carolina, whatever she's going to be called. Just pick a damn name and stick to it. And Selena Vega, I like that both of them are being highlighted. I just want to see more Latinas out there, like obviously like Melina, like AJ Lee, Bailey, even like Rosa Mendes. Like, but we never ever seen someone like at the top of the card where like that, you know, that's their ethnicity, that's who they are, and that's something they highlight and proud of.
Yeah, I don't see that. I'm really trying to think, and the only one I can think of is maybe Lita, but I don't know if
she's not. No, she just went to Mexico.
She just went to Mexico and you know was paired up with S.A. Rios and stuff afterwards. Okay,
yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things where like you don't really see it, and it's a nice change of pace. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, look at that. Speaking of kind of cool, let's go to really cool. Oh, wait, never mind. No, that's not the next part. Never mind. Bad segue. I take that one back. Let me take that back.
Do we even have to talk about this? Because this is getting bad.
Look, listen. I'll skim through it. We won't.
So cringe.
Yeah, we won't go so far into it.
You know what sucks about this is that you and I, Kyle, we actually were enjoying this storyline up until like a week ago.
Yeah, continuity wise, you would swear we love this. No, look, man. Bobby Lashley came out. He tore his groin. because he was
too much
sleeping.
of the sex.
He was sleeping with Lana. We got Rusev out there who wants to fight Bobby Lashley. It's a hot mess. There's no consistency. We can go into it like nitpick, but really this is what it is. You got a cringe love triangle angle, which has Rusev unjustly losing the entire time when he should be overcoming this travesty that's befallen his family. He comes out. He says he's finally cutting ties with Lana, but he still has revenge left for Bobby. Bobby Lashley comes out. He gets the most glorious injury you could ever imagine. He tears his groin having the sex with Lana, which, I mean, granted, now listen, any of us would wear as a badge of honor. Let's just throw that out there. All right, but besides the point,
Some very athletic sex he's trying to have.
I don't even know what move would do that, and I'm scared to think about it. But either way, he's too injured to continue with the match. So out comes his proxy, Drew McIntyre. I'm forcing my way through this, guys. Drew McIntyre to have a uneventful match because even when Baron Corbin's not around, these mid-card guys just cannot get away from each other for whatever reason.
They found a new leader.
Apparently,
I guess.
it's a now. Listen, man. If I'm backstage and I'm lost and very impressionable, who do I look up to? It's probably the Black Brock Lesnar nailing Rusev's wife. Okay, listen.
I don't know about all that, but
I said I was impressionable. Okay, I didn't say that I had my moral standings ironed out. Okay.
Okay, but overall,
he's figuring himself out.
Did you guys even take anything from the match? Nothing stood out. I legit
Nothing.
was just
Nothing.
Didn't care.
Yeah, it's.
I just didn't care.
I wasn't like Rob, where I was like, I refuse and I protest. At the end of the day, Bob Lashley tore his groin having sex with Lana. That's what you took away from this. This whole segment was to get that joke over, and then it turned out to be a farce. Who saw that coming? Because Lashley ended up attacking. Bobby Lashley ended up attacking Rusev with the crutch. And then it turns out Flair versus Hogan is still going on because when Rusev looks like he's about to get his comeuppance once again, he gets RKO'd from Randy Orton
out of nowhere.
And then Ricochet comes in to fend him off. And yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But, we're not highlighting the biggest thing. The biggest error in this whole segment was Rusev is ready to fight Bobby Lashley, not have a match to see who the better wrestler is ready to fight Bobby Lashley and get his revenge. Yet, the sight of Bobby Lashley on crutches, Rusev lost the desire to get his revenge. I can't get my revenge on this man, even though he's mocking me with his injury now at this point. That was my only thing. Well, I was like, dude, why didn't
the biggest thing I took away from this is that Drew McIntyre should not be anywhere near anything remotely
get away from this.
Messy. Yeah. He should be in the damn title picture.
No.
Why is he not challenging for the WWE Universal title or even the IC title? At this point, give him a title. Let him run in the serious program. I've never seen even when he came back, he went right back to what he was doing before he got injured, which was matches with Ricochet, and then he got into this whole Team Hogan stuff.
What he needs to do is sit down with Charlie Caruso, okay? And in fact, we had Becky Lynch sitting down with Charlie Caruso. I'm sorry, Vince. I didn't mean to cut your rant short, but we need to.
That wasn't. I was legit just this just me decompressing from that whole I'm just annoyed about the whole thing. Yeah. I'm ready to move on.
It's just awful.
My god! So
my biggest takeaway is that I want to forget about it. So
Oh my god! So Rob's trolling in our group chat. Rob has taken over the Smack Drop Pod YouTube. Yeah, he's out here trolling. Listen, Rob. Listen to you and everybody else. Lynch versus Shayna Baszler versus Bayley is going to be just
at least spell McIntyre correctly next time, Rob.
Oh my god,
Use
Rob.
Google.
Yeah, dude.
Use Google.
At least use voice to chat, bro. Okay.
Right. That's probably what he's doing. He's probably in the car and like just using voice to chat. That's right.
What a loser.
Oh my god.
But going back to who aren't losers are these two women champions.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh my
dude.
gosh, I had goosebumps. So like Becky's over here talking, then out of nowhere, like Shayna just like, I got this, and just sits down, and they go face to face, and they're going very seriously, like soft spoken tone. Man,
very, very.
I loved it. I loved it, and both of them like, I'm not looking past Bailey, but I'm going right after you. Both
Very
of them,
Jake the Snake esque.
Yeah.
He could convey intensity without having to scream or make like outlandish threats and being way over the top. It was very grounded and very serious and intense. And yeah, Baszler and Lynch, Lynch, she even touched on it. She's like, I've been meaning to get a chance to meet you. And same thing with Baszler sticking up for Rousey. And no, it was.
Oh,
it
but
was
she
so
was
good.
saying that yes, I'm friends with Ronda, but don't mistake me for Ronda because I'm not Ronda.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and then Becky also said like, I don't know who you are, but and I'm glad you came and stepped up to me, but I don't know if I if I respect you or if I want to beat your face in or something.
Yeah.
So it was very good,
It
and
was badass.
it made me want Shayna versus Becky Lynch even more than I knew I wanted it.
Yeah.
And Shayna, like she was given the mic at first, and Shayna is like a legit badass. And the camera panning on her, and it was just like, damn, her intensity was at such a level. And then for a moment, I was like, oh my god, how does Lynch respond? Lynch was just on point, man. Lynch matched that intensity, that cadence, and it instantly became the highlight of the whole show. I was stoked. Poor Bailey was tossed.
Yeah.
Tossed in the cooler for this one because she is part of this match. It's a triple threat match. I'm gonna throw it out there right now, boys. Early prediction: Bailey's in this match to eat the pin.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, he said.
No.
She's gonna win that match.
She's gonna win.
Gonna win that.
She's gonna.
Bailey's
So it's
win
the
that match.
opposite. Lynch and Baszler are gonna tear each other apart, and
Oh,
Bailey's
Bailey's
gonna.
gonna get like a sneaky roll up on Becky to like lead up to that horsewoman match at Mania. Dude, like you're underestimating heel Bailey. She will go out there and get that win. This is not the same Bailey you've known to love. No,
Roz
like,
just fresh in the mind,
the
man.
fact that they both said, I'm not looking past Bailey, but I'm going straight after you. They both said the similar stuff. Leads me to believe that Bailey is gonna get that freaking win. Like just like Roderick Strong beat both Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee in that match. They were so focused on each other. They were so focused on taking out Roderick Strong and making a one-on-one match. Roderick Strong came in last minute and stole that win from Keith Lee. Bailey will do the same thing on Sunday at Survivor Series. But I'll leave that for the predictions video that we're gonna have.
That's your one early teaser. Oh,
I
man.
can see that happening, though, man. I mean, that's good logic, and that's smart booking, so it probably won't. Like
Speaking
NXT
of
gets better booking, so.
I mean, speaking of logic and making sense, we had the OC versus the Street Profits in Humberto Carrillo, which is something that I thought was going to happen like 2 weeks ago. But
Power Ranger is back, by the way, folks.
Yeah,
he didn't leave, man. He came out with his getup.
man, I kind of hope he just like saves it for pay-per-views.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not
it
high
feels like
on it.
mud.
I don't hate it, but I do want a more grounded approach to him. I think when you build a guy's look up too much, it can overshadow the character that you're developing. And I feel like the look is flashier than his character right now. And because that's all I can focus on. And that in his incredibly deep voice. I was not expecting that voice from that
you're
person.
expecting like a very not like he hadn't hit his puberty just yet, right? He doesn't look like he's even
borderline, I guess so. Yeah,
borderline
he looks
puberty.
like it, man. Yeah, dude, he had some baritone in that voice. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I don't know, man. I kind of disagree with the attire stuff. I think he's flashy as hell, and I think fits perfectly with him, honestly.
Okay.
You know, the way he comes out and twirls around and stuff. I don't know, like his wrestling style. You know, I think it fits.
Personally, he's going for like an Aztec warrior, like a Mexican Aztec warrior, like get up thing that he's trying to do. But like I was saying, I feel like it fits more for like a big pay-per-view. Like it doesn't fit if you're doing it at every goddamn show. It'd be similar to like Triple H doing his like whole like skull crown like mask
on weekly television.
Weekly television.
Yeah,
it just,
I hear you. That's fair.
He can tone it down. Obviously, he just came out with 2 new shirts, dude. If you're in wrestling, man, push your
rock your merch, man.
Rock your merch, man. Get that, push your shit, man. Like, make sure you make your money, dude. Like,
especially
get that merch money.
Exactly, and that's why you guys should subscribe to our show at YouTube, and also on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and Google Play and iTunes. By the way, just gotta push your stuff. All
Perfect.
Smack Drop Pod. I'm trying to think. Did he do any of his promo and like? I'm not gonna lie. Like, I forget what I was doing, but I think when they were coming out was when I was trying to get my setup, and that's when I realized I had forgotten some stuff. Did he cut anything in Spanish, or is his accent just kind of thick?
I think it's just the accent's kind of thick right now. I think all that was really done was the Street Profits basically saying, "Oh, you're supposedly the best tag team in the world because they won the turmoil match at Saudi Arabia, but we just beat you guys last week, so technically, like, they were like, oh, but we can't say that." And then I'm like, oh, you know who can say that? Umberto can say that. And he just basically said that, like, Street Profits beat the OC last week on Raw or something. That's all he said. And then they just
and it was riling up AJ. You better not say that. And just like
AJ is so lame, dude. Like, he's like that.
He's such a dad, dude. I love him, but if I was like a teenage guy, like if I was 17 years old, not how old I am.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm just playing. I'm only 31, but still, I would. Dude, he's such a dad, and that's why I relate to him. But he is.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got that whole lame dad vibe to him at the moment. He's transcended the cool like biker like Bullet Club leader guy, and he's no longer the clean cut like flashy babyface guy that Umberto is right now. Like he used to be in Impact Wrestling or TNA, and it's just like he's just kind of grown into just like that old dad wrestler.
He's
That's
super
who he
charming,
is.
though. He's super charming.
Yeah, he has this way about him, but like certain stuff that he does, it's like, oh my gosh, you're such a dad. Like, that's something my dad would do. That's how my dad would be like if he was a wrestler. That's
I'm
what
a
I
dad,
get.
So what can I say?
I get it, but it's just like it's funny. I'm not saying like it's bad, like oh it's cringe like the Rusev stuff. It's more it's like oh it's so bad like I can't look, but at the same time I'm over here like peeking. You know?
Right. Well, no, I get why you wouldn't relate to it, but man, I don't know. I kind of thought he was like just super cheesy as a baby face, before.
No, this is way better than his baby face run that he had.
Oh my god! Totally, yeah.
Like the whole mother lover stuff, it's so dad stuff. You know what they want to say, but they can't say it. So they say, "Oh, we're just a couple mother lovers." Like, no, come on, no.
That's the WWE PG thing, like for kids. That's all it really is. If it's not the OC saying it, it's someone else.
For sure.
I did like the line though, like you guys are mother lovers. Well, mothers love Carrillo's dimples or something. And I was like, dude, this is so stupid all the way around in a good way. But it was.
I think that whole like talking segment was a little bit more like engaging than the match. Maybe just because I've seen Street Profits.
I remember more of the talking engagement than I do the match. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
And then AJ and Umberto have clashes. It's just one of those things where like we've seen this kind of combination is something that WWE tends to do a lot, where like they just keep throwing the same combination over and over again. And as much as they can do some cool stuff, like I think it was last week where it was Ricochet and Drew McIntyre. We had already seen that match so many times, but like even though it was a great match, I couldn't get invested in it as much as I should have.
Yeah, I hear you. I did. We got something brewing though, because AJ's not able to pin Carrillo clean. He had to get the pin on Carrillo with his feet on the ropes, so he stole a win. We'll have to see where this is exactly heading. Unfortunately, I'm not all about these guys. It's kind of like the circling the drain feeling for me. Is these
Right.
guys can't get away from each other, but it's only going down. Like I'm not getting hype for anything out of this. Street Profits and Carrillo make no sense. You're just pairing them up so Street Profits can be the mouthpiece that Carrillo needs right now. And then OC just happens to have 3 members that can match the numbers. And otherwise, there's really no...
Honestly, I think it's the other way around. I think it's that they need something for the OC to do, and they decided, Street Profits OC, but we need AJ to do something. Oh, let's put in Carrillo. And then
Either way, it's a story of convenience other than creativity. And that's,
But yeah, like you said, AJ picked up the win via like cheating tactics. He had his foot on the ropes. Nothing too like crazy there. Umberto's great though. Street Profits are really energetic and super into like everything they do, and I like them to no end. But again, it's this combination we've seen so many times.
Yeah. Something else that we've been seeing a lot: Viking Raiders in a squash match. Took on the East Hampton Polo Boys.
The Polo Boys.
Is that what they were? Yeah. East Hampton Polo Boys over here. They didn't even get names. They were just the Polo Boys. And they got squashed. There's really nothing else to it other than at the end of the match, we got Eric and Ivar on the mic. Actually, I think it was just... Who was it? I think Ivar?
It was Eric that started off the promo and Ivar that closed it off.
Yeah. Pretty much just congratulating OC on winning at Crown Jewel, that tournament. But apparently, it's just kind of one of those whole little, you won the battle but not the war kind of stuff. So it looks like they are gearing for the Raiders to feud with the OC. Curious to where, Authors of Pain, AOP were this week.
Yeah.
They were definitely missing because they belong like that. They instantly could be the spice of life that OC, Viking Raiders, and then you have AOP. You have these 3 teams going at each other, kind of like, granted now style-wise does not match up like Hardy's, Edge and Christian, and Dudley Boys, but you've seen if you can get 3 tag teams with chemistry, you can get a lot of legwork out of that.
I mean, for a while there, wasn't it like New Day, Usos, and I think the Bar that were going back and forth?
And you got over a year worth of content out of those 3 guys. I mean, Usos and New Day alone killed it for a year straight, continually topping each other's pay-per-view matches. So
for sure.
We need that. Kevin, why does your room look like it gets darker and darker, bro? Like,
I have no idea what's going on. I'm losing
trying
the
to fill
stream
that
every once in a
Enigma
while.
void in NXT. He's trying to audition for that new Enigma role for NXT.
oh my god!
But
Yeah.
comes up. That's what that is.
Don't blow my spot, man. Come on.
I'm sorry, man.
No,
but
it's all good. I noticed that too, man. I have no idea what's going
Okay,
on.
maybe it's just getting darker out there, man.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe I don't know, man. I'm in the same time zone, but hey, who knows? Anyways, last up, man, is the main event. You have Seth Rollins taking on Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. Instantly, hey, listen, man, the match if you saw how much time was left, they had less than 15 minutes left. You knew we were either going to get a rushed match or we were going to get some screwy finish. Judging how Friday Night SmackDown went and them letting those guys get almost a half hour, you knew like we were getting a screwy finish here.
Here's the thing. You said we were either going to get like a rush match or a screwy finish. I think we got both. I think it was a very rough match, and it was a screwy finish at the end.
Yeah, you kind of had the guys hitting their beats, hitting some of their best moves that they had. Not all of them, but, the majority. You had the buckle bomb in there. You had Seth Rollins superplex to Falcon Arrow. You had Adam Cole's like pump kick and super kicks and stuff like that going off. Ultimately, the match had no real rhythm. It didn't really have a good structure to it. Before we knew it, it was like the amount of time left to air determined where we were in the match, opposed to the actual pacing of the match. Once we saw that, I was like, oh man, there's 5 minutes left. Before I knew it, Seth Rollins was setting up for a curb stomp. Even though there was no big lead to it. This did lead to Undisputed Era finally jumping in, making their presence known, beating down Seth Rollins. Before we knew it, we had the mid card. You didn't even have your big stars out there, man. You had your mid card. You had your 24/7 division coming out, trying to defend Raw's honor against the NXT elite. The majority of the NXT people we had out there are their biggest stars.
No, they had Ciampa, Undisputed Era. They had Damian Priest. They had Keith Lee doing a freaking
for YouTube. Yeah, you're getting the clip over here of Keith Lee doing a swanton over the top rope.
I can't even believe he can do that. That's so crazy.
Man, you got to bask in his glory.
If you've been watching NXT,
you
know he's been doing some crazy stuff over there.
No, I know, but every time I see him doing stuff, I'm just so impressed because the dude's so big. You
need Keith Lee and Dijak. I've been going a little off the beat here, but I'm gonna drive this home on every show that they pop up on. Keith Lee and Dijak need to fight over the NXT title. Once that feud's over, they need to head up to main roster and they need to fight over one of the main championships. You need Keith Lee and Dijak fighting forever. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, totally.
Like you've mentioned this, you want a Kevin Owens Sami Zayn thing with them.
Yeah, they'll feud for a while, then they'll be paired up, then they'll feud again, whatever. You don't even need a heel in it. You just need the competition to drive them.
Right.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Just one of them snaps under pressure. They need to start competing against each other again. And granted, now look. That's what's more distracting than what was going on in the main event for me. No offense to Adam Cole and Seth Rollins, but you guys were set pieces rather than being utilized correctly for the show.
And here's the thing. This is trust. I want to put this out there before anybody just tries to drag me on social media. I'm not hating on Seth. I'm just saying the shock value was gone after SmackDown because we already got Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole. You knew it was up. They already had a killer of a match. They just freaking went out there and just did their thing. On top of that, Adam Cole went over clean, and this really only kind of felt like Seth Rollins like getting that because you're a
top guy over here.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do the Adam Cole gimmick thing too.
Match, yeah.
If Daniel Bryan can do it, he can do it too.
Dude, I'm sorry, Seth. I'm so sorry, but man, you are not Daniel Bryan. Like you are a top guy. But Daniel Bryan is in a Legends League. Like he is in a guy who will be etched down in history, whereas you'll be etched down for an era.
Right.
Daniel Bryan. We could devote a whole show to what separates him from everybody else.
And here's the thing: the match between Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole kind of felt spontaneous, and it just kind of sort of happened, right? And it's like, and with the whole Seth Rollins thing, and it's Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole, to me, it came across as, oh, well, if you want me to NXT, I would need to go there as your champion, or else I'm not going to go. Kind of sounded like that kid, like, oh, I don't want to go unless I get this. Or I don't want to do this unless this demand is met. Kind of felt that way, and that's kind of how Seth's been feeling this whole time. And like, I know he's tried to like drag down people on Twitter, saying like, "Oh, I used to be the babyface. Everybody used to root for me. Now everybody hates me. I've literally done nothing different." I'm like, no, you've done things differently, dude. Like on screen, you have maybe you haven't. But on social media, you'll do stuff where
never went to war with Ospreay.
Ospreay kind of started.
No shit, that was so dumb.
I'm totally okay with you defending your company. By all means, be the company guy. Root for WWE. Wear that WWE flag with pride. But when you're sitting out here and try to discredit someone by comparing bank accounts, that's where you lose credibility in my eyes. That's my whole thing with Seth Rollins. Yeah. And then obviously he'll just go into the whole thing. Like he got into a thing with JR And it's like this whole like he jumps into like stuff with Sasha now, even though when she's doing it in character and he's clearly not. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, dude, just stop, dude. And then he came out looking like a total geek when he was announced as the captain for Team Hogan. Like, like I'm sorry. Like here's the thing. Seth Rollins doesn't have that cool factor to him because he just comes across as like one of you, like you or me, like a wrestling fan that's like geeked to be in the position he's in. He doesn't have that cool like factor like a Roman Reigns or a John Cena or a Brock Lesnar or a Stone Cold, where they're like, yeah, I'm a total badass. I deserve to be here, and I do the things that I want to do because this is what I want to do, not because you know I'm geeked up to be here. You know, that's kind of how Seth Rollins comes off. Like and it's not a knock against him. I probably, if I was a wrestler,
it's not top guy material. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not. It's not locker room leader material.
When he's a babyface, it just comes off as like he's like super geeked up, like fanboy wrestling guy. And when he's a heel, he's like one of the best in the business.
Yeah,
it's like night and day. It's like night and day, and it's not against Seth. It's just like some people just work better as a heel or work better as a face. Yep. It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
It could be that, and it could be WWE not letting his baby face persona play to his strengths. You know, it could just be like he needs less mic time and more in ring time. His promos could be short and sweet and more direct to the point.
Here's the thing. Even when he burned down the Firefly Funhouse, he felt the need to say, "Burn it down," as he was burning it down.
That's not his call. That's not him. Yeah. That is the writers. That is the writers like, oh, you know what would be really clever? There's fire here, and what does he say? What he says is implied, oh my God, it's gold, you know? No,
one thing that I hate.
That's poor writing, man. That ain't sad.
One thing that I hate that I think is terrible and makes zero sense is when he does the Sweet Chin Music stomp for the curb stomp.
Yeah.
He's like, burn it down, burn it down. Like, how does that make any sense? If anything, if you're stomping a fire, you're actually putting it out. If you're using logic, if you're stomping the fire, you're actually putting it out.
Okay, listen now. That was our for all you guys. Thank you guys for joining in. I see a couple of you over there watching. Listen, I really appreciate it. By the way, that was Mr. Rob Roode, who was not present for the show. That was him in the chat. Okay, that's just Rob for you if you're ever familiar with him. Make sure to tune in Thursday when we recap AEW, NXT. Of course, every Saturday we're recapping Friday Night SmackDown. Also, is Full Gear this week? Full Gear ain't this week, is it? Or is it next week?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday?
Saturday, man. Yeah, tune in for Full Gear. We'll throw together a predictions episode this week as well. That'll probably be helmed by Mr. Vince over here.
No, I'm sorry.
He does the predictions episodes.
I'm gonna pull the Magic Johnson. Like, I'm not gonna be here, because I'm legit. I'm probably gonna be like busy with work, and I legit like since it's AEW, I haven't really focused on AEW. I will leave that to you guys. You guys can do the AEW. I might join you guys on the recap on Sunday or something. I don't know, but I take my name out of that hat.
Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time, you guys have a good one.
Later.